Motion open.
Motion to open.
Second.
Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let go.
Okay, welcome, everyone. Board and committee reports. Eric, and you have another meeting, so you'd like to speak early. We do have a public hearing at 7:30. Right, so this will be a municipal building committee report, and it's an update by the chairman.
You have a
Thank
pen.
you. I got one, thanks.
Eric Swan, 14 Old Farmway, Chairman of the Municipal Building Committee. Municipal Building Committee report. With the snow, the Municipal Building Committee has tried to meet, I think, at least 5 times, and we've all gotten shuffled back and forth. We even tried to get a committee quorum here tonight with members so that we could even break for a moment and discuss the recommendation and even make a recommendation to you. From that point, we're not exactly there. We're very close. Just after the holidays, we had, actually before I start on that road, I should say, the good news is that the Municipal Building Committee was able to get a flyer out in the census mailing, and that went out to everybody. And so we've had some response, not a huge response, but we have had different people have gained responses, have actually gotten an email, so this is a good thing. We'd like to hear, obviously, more, and are open to have any residents contact anybody on the Municipal Building Committee about any questions of any information contained on that flyer. So then after the holidays, we said, okay, we have, from our last joint meeting, we talked about this town hall being the site that's being recommended keeps coming back as the preferred site for reasons of municipal water and sewer connections. It doesn't have a cost to it. It's the center of town. It has certain synergies. We then left that meeting with the motion recommendation by the Board of Selectmen that this site might also, and the only thing it could possibly include is fire protection number 2's property, or maybe a neighbor's property, in terms of trying to think out how we might get a little bit more room on this site. In thinking through cost, I think going to a neighbor, talking to them, the fair value for the adjacent property already doubles the costs that are being carried in the budget. So we sent a letter to fire protection number 2 and asked them if they would make us a proposal for what they thought fair value of land or any terms and conditions. We set the date at the 26th of January, and they did return a letter to us. The purchase price of $275,000 was with just a little bit below, but if there's a little assessment or any other sort of costs, the $300,000 being carried in the current budgets is equal to what they're proposing. So that seemed good, getting that to that point. Then there are 3 conditions of the sale. One is a parking condition because of the use of their function hall. If you take this previous study that was done for the public safety complex and you only build half of it, which would be the police station, then the fire protection 2 part of that building could be extra parking. That would mean there would be reserved spots for the police station, for all their cruisers, for entry into the Sally Port, and for the visitors. And then that additional, let's call it 30 spaces, somewhere around there, could be used by fire protection number 2. Not a hard hurdle to get over. Ability to hook up to the sewer system. That is a very open-ended question, and nobody has approached Newburyport yet. We would have to do some further research and thinking of what that might mean, but we're not 100% sure that that's a deal breaker, and it could be. The third option is being held liable, not being held liable or responsible for any potential cleanup costs that may be associated with the above-mentioned land. And I think the third one is really an ending to the proposal that's a non-starter for us in terms of accepting this and moving forward. So at the moment, we've looked at this, we understand this letter and proposal. The committee has not met to officially make the recommendation, but I believe that again just turns us around back to the town hall site right here. So that's where we are at. I think what the recommendation and what the committee is trying to look at is that, you know, how do you assess this project? And if we realize the facility issues and how it affects everybody in the community, everybody in the town, every resident, and how it affects each one of us, then we can understand the project as a whole. If it's just down to cost, it's just down to cost, and people aren't realizing the benefit that comes with the recommendations of combining facilities. And so with the recommendation, there'll be an analysis of what the benefit of square footage is, what the benefit of prices is. I was just talking to several contractors today, and the cost estimators for projects and proposals, and the estimates I'm getting back are containing a target of mid-2016 that costs will increase from today till then of 4.4%. So any budget put on the table today of X dollars is already being targeted for escalation of 4.4%. That's just in the midpoint of next year. By the time you take on a project like this, by the time we, any decent-sized project, a little bit bigger than this one, would take about half that time in design, and you'd be lucky to get into the ground of midpoint. Our project, with trying to meet annual town meetings, get approval for just basic funding, and then get to the next step, will be pushed out to 2017. I think the thought is, and what we're all hearing, is that people want a separate police station, are willing to think about that and step up and maybe vote for just the police station. But if we do it just the police station, I think that the other thought that comes with that is that the town hall needs would be put aside for some later date. And so even though the costs here at town hall are less or half or less than half of a new police station, if you put them off and keep deferring them, they're just gonna keep getting more and more expensive. So that's the report in a nutshell. That's what we as a committee will discuss, we will vote on, we will then have a recommendation, and that recommendation will basically outline in a little bit more words and more documentation what I just told you. That's where we're at.
Thank you, Eric. I think one of the things too that kind of leaps forward in what Eric was saying is, and it will take time, I think, for people to simulate, you know, the value of maybe a combined building. It took me a while to try to understand, you know, some of the benefits, and meaning that if you're going to build a police station and it's a set figure, and it seems from all the surrounding towns and what they're building for police stations, if that's approaching $4.5 million, and you have to do renovations to town hall and some of the more compliant things and deal with downstairs and other things, it starts to become expensive. And you're still, I mean, I really like town hall, but you're still stuck with a wooden building, and you're still stuck with town hall the way it is, and it's rather inadequate. So, and those could approach $1 million. So when you're starting to talk about $5.5 million as opposed to the $7.5 million or whatever we're thinking, it starts to make very good sense to maybe combining the project, and I think that's our task. And we'll give people a chance to decide if that's a vision they want to have. I think that's the best we can do.
Town hall may look great, and we're all standing here and the paint's on the walls, but we do have trailers outside that are inefficient and cost money.
Yep.
And that space needs to be added. If the new police station was built somewhere else, then some of the trailer space goes with it, but there's still about 1,000 square feet of space that needs to be added to the building to accommodate those offices that are now outside in trailers. The space downstairs is needed for storage. You have an issue with storage at the town transfer station with documents that aren't being stored properly, and I was just told last week that we're basically maxed out. I didn't know what the capacity was, but that's something that we'll look into and understand. So there are space needs here that are deficiencies that go beyond just aesthetic looks.
Yep.
You know, it was a great job done to improve the building and
Yeah.
fix up things and get a table and stuff like that, and get TVs and get the TV on, but there are other issues, and I guess what we haven't really addressed each time, there are inefficiencies in service that all the town residents expect, and at some point, those services are gonna be compromised because of the facilities. And we need to keep moving on this, or at some point, I'm gonna be here talking about 104 months of time since this project was first printed on a piece of paper.
Well, I mean, I think you've done a good job, Eric, and I think we've accomplished a lot. I have to say that in the beginning, and Eric has another meeting, I was absolutely in favor of maybe a freestanding police station and didn't understand the complexities. But at least myself, and I don't know about the rest of the members of the board, but I've certainly grown to have a more, a broader understanding of some of the complexities of where we have to go and what we're looking to, to vision for 50 years. So thank you for what you've done, and I know you have a ZBA meeting right off, right?
Yes.
So, thanks, Eric. Any questions quick for Eric before he goes? Anyone?
Anything to add, or?
Anyone? Stevie, you're on the committee too, right? Anything you?
When's the next municipal building committee?
And Damon's on the meeting, yes, on the committee too, sorry. So,
Supposed to be on a plane on Monday, so if I make that, I'm out till
it's gonna
Thursday.
snow, don't worry, it's gonna snow, you're done, you'll be
If I
out.
don't make that, who knows if I'm not leaving till Wednesday and back till next Monday. So we will schedule a meeting, and maybe it's a morning meeting, maybe it's an evening meeting, but we'll
Yeah.
get everybody at the meeting as soon as possible. We understand time is of the essence, we understand that we need to get something to the selectmen, and we need to get something to all the other boards, the planning board and the FinCom and the capital planning committee as well.
Very good.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Tracy, we do have a, before I jump to you, can I take John? Do you care?
No, we're there.
John, so you don't get stuck here? John's gonna inform us on something that's kinda neat. We're getting famous, right, John?
Oh, yeah. I've been having conversations with Doug Armitage. He represents 20th Century Fox, and they want to do some filming at 136 Middle Road. I'm not sure what the context is of the movie, but they were reaching out to me for facilitating police detail coverage for this event. And they're slated to start February 17th, and there's going to be a couple of days, they figured, so maybe the 18th or 19th they should be wrapping up. They asked me if I had any input as far as what needs to be done to make this okay with the town, any other permitting or anything. Part of my dialogue with them, it was learned that they also tentatively intend to do some, or would like to do some filming using Scotland Road as the backdrop. That would probably cause an interruption at times in traffic flow, and I thought that was probably a relevant thing to bring before the board to apprise you folks of. And I also suggested, whether it was needed or not, I really wasn't sure, but just as a matter of overkill, to submit a special permit request, and along with their insurance binder and everything else, and that should be before you. And I've also spoken with Wally Zila, the deputy fire chief for that district, that area, and he's signed off on that as well. He's been apprised. So it's more of a just-in-case type of application. They're not really sure if they're going to be filming there, but again, I thought the board should be aware of it, and there it is in front of you.
Now, are you asking us to put a signature to this too, motion to put signatures to it, which I
That
understand?
would be my
Yep,
request, yes.
Yep, so I'll entertain that
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second?
Any discussion?
None. Hell, do they need seconds?
I don't know if it's a horror movie, so
All right.
Oh, jeepies, that's fast.
If they're stopping traffic, do they make any compensation to the people they stop, or how does that all?
our experience with this, we've done this type of a situation before in the past, and it's very, very controlled and very intermittent in short. You know, it's usually what'll happen is it's a moving type of a filming, and so
Yeah.
traffic going the same direction can continue, but there'd be a pace car or cruiser keeping them back, and there'd be a momentary stop of the traffic coming the other way. They do a quick thing, and then everybody goes. So it's
barely.
yeah, it's very, very
Well, fun. All right.
yeah.
Sounds great to me.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye. John will sign
Thank you
it.
much, John.
Thank you, thank you. Town administrators report?
First, I'd like to commend the DPW for the work that they've been doing throughout the storms during the past couple of weeks and keeping ahead of them.
We
And
actually have a letter in here, I think. Yeah.
we do. And ask the residents to continue to be patient as we work through the cleanup and what may be coming on the way. But anyone that does have issues, certainly they're welcome to call the Board of Selectmen's office or call the DPW directly, and they will get to it. It just may take a little time. I wanted to let you know that in December, the department managers participated in a defibrillator training seminar that we held at the Newbury Library in Byfield. Sergeant Stephen Jenkins and Robert Bishop of the DPW and the fire department conducted the training and showed everyone how to perform CPR and also how to use the new defibrillator that was generously donated to the town by the Sunman family. So we're all getting the appropriate training to use it. With the assistance of Building Commissioner Sam Joslin, I was able to submit a claim for the recent septic backup into the police department. And we are expecting a reimbursement from our insurance company of about $26,000. So that's good. At least we'll be able to recover some of the expenses for
What
the
was it,
cleanup.
broken pipe?
I believe it was the pump
Okay.
that was the issue this time. Last week it was the pipe. But that's been resolved as well. Beta Engineering did provide me with an update of the two projects that are currently underway. The Town Hall sewer connection project, the engineering for that. They provided a report that basically outlined the existing potential future flows. And then they provided some base mapping for the project. They've developed that. And they've had some coordination with pump manufacturers to kind of determine what's the best option for us. And design specifications are underway. So once that's complete, we'll move that project hopefully to the bid process. Pavement management, the inspections were all performed before the initial snowfall, so that was good. And the results of the inspections are going through their internal quality processes. And once we have the final report from them, they'll sit down and they'll go through it with us, identify all the roads that are the highest priorities, with the intention of putting together a road improvement program. And also wanted to just let you know that budget development's underway. The last few weeks, budget hearings are being conducted, and the only other issue we've got coming up is I expect the auditors to be here next week. So it's gonna be a busy time.
Okay, thank you very much, Tracy. We have about 6 minutes we are going to reopen a public hearing, but next on the new business is a request by John A. Van Loan. Jack, you're here, right? And it is to place an article on the May 10th, 2015 annual town meeting warrant authorizing the selectmen to petition the general court to enact an act authorizing the relocation, replacement, reconstruction, and maintenance of a piling-supported building at 41 Plum Island Turnpike. And I could read you some of the legislation, but Jack, you can probably explain a little of this if you'd like, but we did this last year, and 2 years ago, and it was voted to do this at town meeting. And I'll let you speak before I say any more, but it kind of died in the legislature, right?
Right.
So no, so that's why we need to resubmit it, but go ahead, Jack.
2 years ago, we did this. It got through 2 public committees and then basically died in Senate Third Readings Committee, so it never even came to the floor for a vote. January 6th, all legislation dies that's
Yep.
hasn't been signed by the governor. So going to try it again this year and see if we can get a better result.
And you're just asking for a motion from us to put it on the annual town warrant? Go ahead, guys.
So moved?
So
Have to
Second.
get a petition, get 10 signatures and
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, So, any discussion?
What is the law, what is the requirement that, the exemption that you're asking for? Is to fix a piling?
To replace the whole building, I mean, I can't replace the pilings with the building in place. I could, I guess, but it would be prohibitively expensive, so it's cost-wise easier just to take everything down and start from scratch.
And doesn't it relieves, it makes things better too, right?
It's going to be 4 feet higher than it is
Yep.
now. It's going to be set back from the road.
Yep.
63, I think,
It adds relief for the road and makes it safer.
Essex County widened the
Yep.
turnpike, and
Yep.
now the building, which was on the property, is not, so moving it back 8 feet and up 4. Same square footage.
Right.
On the first floor, it'll be a cape
Yep.
with
And
wooden
it's,
floor on the second also.
and this is required because it's in wetlands or marsh?
So I have tried, I've gone through hearings, superseding order, I've had an adjudicatory hearing, and the DEP still says no, because I'll be destroying 1,000 square feet of salt marsh when it's already there.
Mhm.
I'm not asking for anything more than the stilt house or the clam shack in Newburyport that's now being used as a residence.
And they say it pretty well right here, Jack. The building may be located in a manner to eliminate an existing encroachment created by the laying out of the right-of-way of Plum Island Turnpike, and thus increasing the compliance with local zoning setbacks and to meet the state building code, including a manner generally consistent in a plan entitled. So it creates some public good, so that's great.
This is a plan that was approved by the Conservation Commission.
Yep.
Yep.
We came to an
I
agreement.
remember all that now.
Contact Doug about that, but couldn't reach him, so.
Yeah. And
Just
we, and
wanted
we've
to
gone
find out
down,
about it more.
we've done it before, so I think it's, go ahead.
No, I think that's good. I just wanted, I didn't understand the whole project from what you submitted, and so just wanted a better sense of it.
Sure.
So I think it's a good plan, and hopefully we can get it through the legislature this time.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thanks, Jack.
Seemingly need a little more than that.
Huh?
Yes.
I seemingly a little more than good luck.
A little pressure.
Thank you.
We've still got a few minutes to go, and maybe we could
Copy
take
that.
the part of our agenda that is a request of the town clerk, Lacey Haley, to appoint the election workers for 2015 election. So those people are before you, in that list, guys. And I need a motion to
Motion
appoint.
to appoint?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
I think we can open it now.
Yep. So,
Across the, okay, so that one's done.
we have a letter before us, and we'll
Open
open the town meeting, excuse
Public
me,
hearing.
the public hearing, and we will, so,
Motion
I'm
to
not
open-
sure that we made a motion, but we will take a motion. Go ahead, Damon.
Motion to open the public hearing?
Second the motion.
Yep. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So, we have received a letter from Borrego Solar Systems, Inc. It is from Steve Long. He's the physical engineer and civil engineer. And it is addressed to us, it's the board. We respectively request that you withdraw our application without prejudice. So, that being said, we have, I don't know if you have the, and we can have some discussion on this, because I'm sure we will. Lisa Mead has sent us a motion. If you don't have that, you can read that motion, and then we'll ask for a second, have discussion.
Motion to move to approve the request of Borrego to withdraw their special permit application for a large-scale solar facility at 136 Main Street without prejudice. So that's the motion. We need to, I guess, make the
Okay,
motion as.
second the motion.
Good. Now, any discussion?
What is it being moved to? Or
They are
gonna
going to.
reapply?
I'll ask Tracy or Alan for a little clarification, but it's my understanding that they're gonna resubmit Is that what they're going to do?
I wasn't, Martha was
Because
in the
they're not
meeting,
here,
but
right?
it's their
Martha,
intention
go
to
ahead,
sit
help
down.
us.
Actually had a meeting with Steve Long and TJ Murphy yesterday. They are planning to resubmit. It will basically be the same plan with some additional information which will address some of the questions that were raised before. Their intention is to submit the application to the board on February 24th with the hope that a public hearing would be scheduled for March 24th.
So we could make the supermajority, right?
Right.
Right, that is needed for solar.
Okay.
So, any other questions?
None?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you, Martha.
Move to close the public hearing?
Yes,
Motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I
Glad
have
you
to, I have to
remembered
get,
that.
I have to get clarification, because I really, do we need a motion to open a public hearing?
I think you
Yeah.
just open it.
Huh?
Better safe than sorry.
You continue it.
But it's safer than sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, good enough. All right, notification of a porch festival that is to be held on Plum Island by Cynthia Keefe. Is she here tonight? Great, how are you? I'm glad you're here. We'll let you, I'll read a little bit, and she sent a letter to Alan, and she included a lot of paperwork. And I guess it's gonna be in May on Plum Island, and why don't you get up and tell us exactly what it is?
Okay, basically, what we want to do is just celebrate the community and celebrate music and bring the people of Plum Island out and together to enjoy what we have out there. So individuals will offer to host bands on their porch or in their yard. And we'll have it one afternoon from 12 at noon until 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and then it will be over with. We're not planning any street closures. We're not planning to have any vendors other than the businesses that are already out there. And I think, we're hoping to have a lot of bands take part in it, but that's a big hope. We'll see what happens. No one's being compensated for anything at this point other than, printing costs and things like that. So,
And what you said, it was kind of modeled after similar events that have been held in other communities?
yes.
And it's gonna be the local homeowners and, volunteering. So you're just looking to notify us. You're not asking for any special permits or anything else. You're
Right.
just,
As far as I understand, there's nothing necessary.
then I think that we will just, we're glad you notified
Consider
us.
yourself notified. Consider yourself invited as well.
So,
All right.
and have a good time.
Thank you. Thank you. We hope
Thank you.
to. It's going to be
Sounds great.
really cool.
All right, well, thank you, and it's a great effort.
Thank you.
So,
Thanks.
and be safe.
Good, we will. Come on out for it.
We
Maybe
will.
the snow will melt by then.
No. Nope, just great.
John, you got any questions while you're still here? On the porch event?
What's that?
You didn't hear that?
I did not hear that.
All right.
When I walk in.
Just say yes. I sent you an email as well, and I spoke to the chief about it, and he didn't seem to have any
Then we're good.
concerns.
Yep.
Porch Fest out on Plum Island.
This is when the community's gonna get together from about 12 to 4 or 5, maybe 6 at night, and they're gonna have bands on the porches, and people are gonna celebrate a little and just move through the island,
Awesome.
so.
And if you send me an email, I'll follow up with you. What's the best time to do that? We can sit down just to go over logistics and make sure that everything's gonna be okay.
I'll be away for the next week or two, so either tomorrow or after that.
All right, well, I'll be here tomorrow. So,
You don't wanna leave the snow, do you?
if you send an email, I'll reach out to you, not to take
Yeah,
up more time
yeah.
at work, but I'm sure there'll be no issues, but just so we know what's happening. If you can, I can actually talk to you today, if you'd like.
That would be fine.
Okay.
All right, do you want to do that?
Good,
Go ahead.
great, thanks for expediting.
Thank
Great,
you.
Thanks. We have a one-day liquor license for the Byfield Community Arts Center, Cat in the Cradle Coffee House, February 10th, 2015, from 7:30 to 11 p.m. Does everything seem to be in order?
Everything is in order.
I would
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
It's the February 14th, the Saturday.
You had,
Did I do that wrong?
Oh dear.
You know what, let's look.
no, you had it the 10th.
You wanted it on Valentine's Day?
February 10th.
Well, we can change it.
I don't think it's a problem, right?
No, not a
Yeah,
problem.
I mean, I think we can change it here, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
Why not?
absolutely.
so.
So, do we?
So I will reread. You ready, Ellen?
I'm ready.
One-day liquor license, Byfield Community Arts Center, Cat in the Cradle, Coffee House, February 14th, 2015, from 7:30 to 11 p.m.
I will reiterate, motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
None.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Also, a one-day liquor license for Byfield Community Arts Center, Local Lounge, February 21st, 2015, from 7:30 to 11 p.m. again.
All right, that's a sad deal also, right? Okay, the math works this time.
Everything in order, Ellen?
Everything's in order.
Um,
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now, next thing on the agenda, Martha, is the planning board appointment recommendation, Richard Moss, the board's current associate member, to fill the vacancy that was created by the resignation of Kathleen Pearson, effective the 1st, 2015. The appointment would be effective until the next regular election in May, and Richard is sick tonight.
Yes, he's
Can you tell us a little bit about Richard? He's been, the associate member for quite a while, he lives in Caldwell Village.
Right, he's the board's current associate member. He's been, I actually can't remember exactly when he was appointed, but he's already been quite active. He's been attending classes and really, getting up to speed. He is a retired surgeon, lives at Caldwell Farm, as you mentioned, and, has been a great,
And we're just asking for him to serve to the next election.
great to step up to
Yeah.
fill the vacancy.
So, can I have a motion, and then we'll have a
Motion to
discussion?
approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
None.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, boy, you're really moving.
We appointed the election workers already?
Yes, we did. Now we have, like usual, some business license renewals. We only have 2 tonight. So it's gonna be Robin Davis, doing business. I'll take them separately and we'll, vote them together. Doing Parker River Dental, 3 Kent Way Byfield, and John Gallant, doing business as Gallant Pools, and Spa, Newburyport Turnpike.
Motion to approve all, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Any discussion?
None.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any old business? Anyone done anything, any correspondence? We will go to that next. Have you been anywhere at all? Meeting updates, we can do that later. Okay, correspondence. We got a letter from Marty Joe, and it was a nice letter, so see if I can find it.
Yeah, I'm lost.
It's okay. Been lost most of my life.
Thank you.
Marty Joe is the
Views
Council
tonight.
on Aging, and obviously, some of her concerns would be for the elderly, and we have had a lot of snow. And just like Tracy had said earlier, and I compliment the Highway Department also, and Marty Joe wrote us this as Council on Aging. Gentlemen, just wanted to say what an awesome job your crew did in cleaning up the roads in town. Thursday morning, I went out very early before work to get groceries for some elderly, from elders in town, and drove through many streets in Byfield. I was so impressed with the bare ground, having had 2 days of shoveling on my own property. I know how overwhelming this blizzard was. Once I arrived at the elementary school, I saw all the cleanup in Old Town section, and it was equally clear. Please know that was some of the elders arrived at the senior center late morning, they also commented on what a great job the roadways and walkways were. We appreciate your dedication and hard work and just wanted to say thank you. So it's a positive, and and I've heard a lot of folks say that we cleaned up as quickly as we could, considering places that are cities in Boston. I mean, people are having a lot of trouble, so I think everyone did a good
Well, it's
job.
absolutely true. I come from the Byfield sector, but I drove over to the Plum Island sector to Newburyport, and Newbury was a pleasure to drive through. As soon as I get into the Newburyport line, it was down to one lane, and it was incredible. So kudos to the guys. Great job.
Yep, that's great. Damon, what'd you see?
Well, they'd certainly do a better job plowing than I do, so.
All right, second part of the correspondence, and this will be interesting. Michael, you ready? At the Plum Island Foundation, we had a notification, and I'm sure it has to do with Pitta Hall and the Plum Island Foundation. I think they're working jointly on this. But there is a candidates' night for the Newbury Special Elections Selectmen, Friday, February 6th, 7 p.m. at Pitta Hall Boulevard. John McCone of the Newburyport Daily News is going to moderate, jointly sponsored by the Plum Island Taxpayers Association and Plum Island Foundation. And they're asking for everyone that would like to join and meet the three candidates, which is J.R. Colby, Mike Doyle, and George Moss. So, for anyone that's interested, this would be a chance to get to, I'm sure a lot of people know Mike, and meet everyone else. So,
Can you clarify if that's gonna be recorded?
you mean, hey, Caleb? Are you in there, the wizard? Yeah. Are you gonna be able to get anyone down to Pitta Hall at 7? Yeah, I'll be there. So that will be recorded.
And it'll be up on the town website?
Wow. Better be on your game, Michael. You gonna be on TV? Thank you, Caleb. Heidi.
The YouTube clips of the three candidates are very well done,
Good.
that are already on the web.
And that's gotta be Caleb, right?
Yes,
So kudos to Caleb.
it's great.
Okay, the third correspondent is from Deb Choate, Triton Regional School Committee. She's chair, and it has to do with some of the things that we have to look forward to. At the most recent meeting of the District Communications Committee held on January 21st, 2015, all those present agreed that in order to move forward on the stadium project, another meeting was necessary prior to February school vacation. That meeting is scheduled for Thursday, February 12th at 7 p.m. It will be held in the Triton Middle School Library. Two things need to be decided by the three-member towns. One is how to fund the project, which could be a debt exclusion, regular budget item, or others. The other is how the annual payment should be divided equally by all three boards or based on foundation enrollment. This will be your stadium, and these are decisions that must be made by you. We, the Triton School Administrators and School Committee, want to be a resource and to facilitate the process in any way we can. We ask that the members of the Board of Selectmen, Town Managers and Administrators, and members of the Town Finance Committee please attend. If you would like any other information or questions answered prior to this meeting, let us know. And I think this is good, because, we were thinking of trying to get, together and discuss with some, at least getting everyone together at the same time is good. So that would be Thursday, February 12th at 7 p.m. So, are we to the minutes?
No, there's a question.
Oh, Stephen, do you have a question, Steve? Okay.
Not really a question, so to speak.
Do we have to take a
Steve
photo?
Graham, 21 Forest Street. I would encourage the selectmen to encourage the school committee to divide it by 3. If they're gonna run the debt exclusion out 12 or 15 years, student population in all 3 towns changes, and we don't know what it's gonna be 5 years down the road. So if it's divided by 3, that's the fairest way to do it, I think.
Thanks, Steve.
It's a good thought.
You ran over old business pretty quick. There are a few things that I did actually do in the interim.
Wow.
So,
Go ahead. The snow's getting to you, right?
yeah, just going fast. So I attended I think we discussed this, but attended the budget meeting for the school committee.
Yep.
And the budget is much higher than our projected revenues this year, so there's going to be a lot of cuts in the schools, and things look really tough for the school budget this year. And
Sometimes the cuts come to us and not the schools. Go ahead.
but they're looking at cutting a number of positions and letting people retire without being replaced, so class sizes may be growing. There's a lot of things that don't look great in that budget, so that's something we should be aware of. Marlene has met with the Byfield Water District about putting a bench down there, and they're in consideration for that.
This would be at the dam.
At the dam.
Yep.
And then, just one of the things, been talking to a number of people about how we can generate revenue outside of our overrides, because we have such a difficult time with that, and no one's come up with any good solutions, but it was suggested that in looking at the master plan, that's something we should be considering, because we're continually short on cash, and we want to provide good services, but if we don't have the money, it's very hard to do. So those three things are what I've been working on.
That's enough.
Yeah, all right, it's great.
Thank you for attending that.
Yep. Tracy, in your knowledge of other towns, the mechanisms of which Damon has been brainstorming and trying to think, when we have the amount of retail and commercial space in our town, and we've been kind of arrested at a certain place with Proposition 2.5, what mechanisms do towns beyond, like a CPA, where could we go? What else have we got in place except for overrides, debt exclusions?
When you have such a high reliance on the tax rate as we do to fund our operating budget, which it's in excess of 80%, there isn't anywhere else to go. Commercial development, our hands are tied to some degree. We've certainly looked at that. The only place you have to go are permitting fees and taxes.
Yep.
So.
So, that work you're doing, anything that anyone comes up with is certainly gonna be held in high review. It's not an easy, it's not
Yeah,
easy.
It's not an easy solution,
easy.
otherwise everyone would have already done it.
Well, not really.
But
who
it
knows?
just seems like, everyone wants more from the town,
Yep.
and we can't do as much as we'd like to.
Well, we're lucky now that town hall is functioning at such a high level, because we're getting at least a lot of the revenues that had been lost in. Without those, Damon, we'd really be in trouble, so.
And we have eliminated a lot of the services that you used to provide, so we're, at the point we're at now, we have a sustainable operating budget, but we're not able to add additional services, and we're not able to bring back the services we had either, so.
All right, review of meeting minutes, all of us were there, so I'd look for a motion.
Motion to approve is read.
Written. Second.
Any discussion, anyone see anything they, wanna change, or?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we will, motion to approve warrants,
Motion to approve?
Second motion.
any discussion? All those in favor, so is, all of us, so we'll approve those when they come our way. Meeting updates. And, Damon's already given us some,
None.
so.
All plowed snow. That's all I've done.
Everyone's plowed snow. Anything from the audience? Anyone done any good things? Jen, any,
Just ask the chairman if he's pulled nomination papers for another run.
have I? Are we supposed to? Is it early?
No, for right now.
It's no right now, but I will.
You're continuing,
Yep.
you're gonna run again?
Yep.
Motion to
Executive
adjourn.
session, none. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
All right.